and it's just a lack of education at that point, which is, why we're doing this video. So let's answer the question, what negative effects does punishing my child have? Well, anytime you punish your child, you cause your child's sense of security to be shaken. They literally start to feel insecure. Okay? It causes worry, and they begin to fear making mistakes. And this will cause the child to act and react from a place of fear. Okay, overall, I mean, if this type of punishing is used long term, that's how the child will ultimately live its life, is acting and reacting from fear. Now, before I get into elaborating on that, I want to ask you a question. Do you want to teach your child to worry and react from fear? I think, most any parent would say no to that question. But I want you to really get a feeling for what it is that this causes the child, and I want you to ask yourself, do you like to worry or be in a state of fear? Think about the last time you had to worry about something, whether you were worried about a loved one or it was a financial situation, or any time that you've experienced that worry in that need for this problem to go away, and the confusion and the striving to get through it, and the struggle of it all, especially emotionally. And then think about being in a state of fear and being scared of something happening, or being scared of what has happened or what something could mean. Those places that are just laced with confusion, that's what punishing your child will cause for your child. Whether you see it in their face or not, emotionally that's how they feel. Punishment, because it lacks true guidance and instruction, it can cause your child to be confused about how to make good choices. Okay, this is very important here. They begin to only focus on trying to avoid making bad choices. This can create a negative thought pattern, because focusing on what he or she is afraid of and what not to do is clearly not as positive and healthy as focusing on what is productive and beneficial. Okay, so to use the running through the house example again, if you were to punish the child for that in the way we talked about earlier, the reason the child won't run in the house anymore is because they're afraid of upsetting mom or dad. Okay, they're afraid of that punishment, so I'm going to do everything I can do to make sure I don't do that again. Okay, and that's their focus, and that's a very negative focus. The flip side to that would be, focusing on what's productive and beneficial, would be, well, I'm not going to run through the house anymore because I realize that it disturbs the people around me, and I could slip and fall and get hurt. And nobody really wants to hurt themselves, so, I'm going to focus on not running in the house for that reason. What you're really wanting to do is not just stop the behavior, you're wanting to make sure that the child is focusing on stopping the behavior to somehow benefit them and benefit their life and be better for them, not better for you as a parent. You want to make it so it's for both of you guys. So many parents out there are doing this with just the punishment thing, and they stop the behavior, but it doesn't correct the behavior problem overall, because that behavior will show up in other ways because they're constantly focusing on what they're afraid of. And it's going to cause them to act and react from fear, like I talked about earlier. So giving them this positive reinforcement it's sort of like positive reinforcement. You're still disciplining them in some way and giving them a timeout and whatnot, but you want to make sure that their focus is shifted to why it's a good thing for them not to do that, rather than why they should be afraid of upsetting you as a parent. If your child is not taught the difference between good, acceptable, and appropriate choices and bad, unacceptable, and inappropriate choices, how is he or she ever going to learn to create the life that they deserve and that you want for them? Okay, they're going to learn how to interact with people and what's okay to experience from people in their life from the way that you go about this discipline versus punishment thing. So you want them to create a good quality life. You need to give them some good quality direction, and it's at a child level, it's really not hard to do. It just takes a little bit more focus. Bottom line here is punishment does not teach your child, it scares them. It scares them immensely at an emotional level. So let's look at discipline as an alternative. Now, I've talked about discipline, the difference between it, while talking about punishment there. But I'm going to give you a few extra tips on the discipline aspect of things. But I also want you to understand that children do not naturally know what is acceptable. Okay, we already talked about this. It's your job to teach them. So I want you to sit down and think of ways that you can apply this information to transform punishment into discipline. You know, the basic way here is, if you're still going to give a timeout, give a timeout. We don't recommend spanking at all, because it's just a physical, you know, I mean, nobody likes to get hit, and nobody learns anything by getting hit. You know, they learn, you know, maybe I'm not going to do that again, but it's for fear of, you're causing them to fear the pain again. You don't want to cause them to fear the pain. You want them to have a natural, healthy fear of the negative aspects of what it is that they're doing. So that way that fear can promote them into the positive aspects of life. Okay, you want the fear to be productive overall, emotionally, psychologically, and also physically. So